Hello, everyone, and welcome to this talk on psychology A level. I hope everyone is well and that you can see my screen just fine. A really exciting news. The Humanities Department at Cheney are excited to announce we'll be offering the AQA A-Level Psychology course starting September 2021. So that is the September upcoming. Alongside myself, Miss Mills, and Mrs. McWesver, who you all, well, many of you will know, okay, we'll be inviting a specialist psychology teacher to join the course as well. So this will be someone who's studied psychology as a degree that we'll be inviting to work with us at Cheney. Okay, so if you're on this, you probably already have kind of a basis understanding of what psychology is, or maybe you don't know at all, okay? So I thought it would be a good idea just to introduce briefly what the subject is about. So psychology, in short, is the study of the mind. In our day-to-day life, we only access a small portion of our conscious mind. So looking at the image, the top of the iceberg, this is kind of what the brain can process. But all underneath, this represents the unconscious mind, which on a day-to-day basis, we don't necessarily tap into. Okay, so psychologists are interested in exploring both the conscious and unconscious elements of the brain. So this involves looking analytically at mental health, okay, approaches to mental health, social behaviours, cognitive, so thinking processes, the biological elements of the brain and how it functions, and the development of the mind from a small age. Within this, the field has given rise to a lot of academics, some more controversial than others, from Sigmund Freud up to William James. And in the course, we look at what these theorists have to say and question them analytically. So we train you to be and think like psychologists yourself. Okay. So how is the course structured? In previous years, there has been an AS and an A level, but just to make it clear for you guys, it would just be the A level, meaning that the course will be linear and all exams would be taken at the end of the 2 years. So the way we teach it would obviously be split up over 2 years, however. And there are 3 key papers that we'll visit throughout the 2 years. Okay. So for paper 1, we usually start with this material in year 12. You have to do compulsory topics. So this means anyone who's taken this A level looks at these topics first. So these are social influence, memory, attachment, and psychopathology. So we look at things like how an authority or peer pressure can influence a person and their decisions, the biological and cognitive processes of memory, looking at infant attachment to primary caregivers, and psychopathology, looking at mental health disorders and how different people have approached it with different theories, okay, and how this is practiced in the UK today. So your exam on this would be 2 hours and would count for around a third of the A level. Okay. Then paper 2, we move on to contextual psychology. So more to do with certain skills that you would employ in the field of psychology. So things this involves are approaches in psychology, biopsychology, so that's the biological understandings of the brain, and research methods. Okay, so this is how to carry out psychological research, what are the best methods to use, looking at how studies have been carried out in the past, how this is being developed today. Again, this would be 2 hours and will count for around a third of the A level as well. And then your final year is where it gets interesting. So we do have a little bit of freedom in that on the syllabus, we're allowed to choose 3 optional modules. And that will be based on the teacher who comes in and even your guys' input. Okay, so what you think sounds most interesting to you. So the types of things you could be studying here are the psychology of relationships, gender, development, schizophrenia, eating disorders, eating behaviours, and the mental processes behind that, stress, aggression, forensic psychology, and even the psychology of addiction. So lots of really interesting topics at stake there that we could learn. Okay. So thinking about entry requirements, we just want to explain why it is that we do have entry requirements for this course. So the reason for this is there are quite a number of high-level skills involved in taking the A-level that include literacy and mathematics skills. So for this course, we do ask students have a minimum of grade 6 in English, maths and biology. So it's not to be harsh, but it's realistic because there are a number of skills involved in essay writing and science and mathematics, and I'll talk a little bit about those now, okay, so you can see what I mean. So there's a general overview of what's expected of high-level essay writing in psychology, and mainly in exams, that's what will be required of you. So as it says, students must demonstrate ability to draw together their skills, knowledge and understanding from across the full course of study. There are extended responses required in the papers, evidence of sufficient length, where one must show ability to write and develop a sustained line of reasoning which is coherent, relevant, substantiated and logically structured. So quite a high level A-level essay that you would need to produce. Okay. And there are a number of mathematical and scientific requirements. So things include arithmetic, handling data, okay, looking at statistics, the issue of probability, okay, algebra, graph work, okay, and we would give you as much support as this as we can if you're not taking maths A-level, but we do recommend you have a strong foundation to begin with in these subjects. Okay. As for resources then, there are a small number of textbooks associated with the course. We will have some of these on school grounds that we will be able to lend you, but as for independent learning, you might be asked to obtain a textbook on your own. Usually these are detailed on the AQA Psychology website and can be found for fairly affordable prices on Amazon. If you do have issues though, do message myself or Miss McWesver, and I'll give you our information at the end, because we definitely will support everyone as much as we possibly can with resources. So just to talk a little bit about where psychology takes someone, okay, so you might really get into it and decide to go to university to study psychology afterwards, or do online courses or practical courses, okay, where you learn on the job. So you might become a therapist, work in social work, counselling, look at criminology, work with children, therapy with children, and become a sports psychologist. Okay, lots of really exciting routes that this can open up for you. Okay. So I've baffled on quite a lot. Thank you so much for listening this far. If you have any questions, please feel free to email myself, smills@cheney.oxon.sch.uk, or Miss McWesver. That shouldn't be a colon, that should be an at. But if you type in Mills or McWesver in the email section, our names and emails should come up pretty much instantly. Okay. Thank you very much for listening, everyone, and I hope to see lots and lots of you in September 2021.